Good morning, welcome for this lecture. Today we will see how to solve the root locus problem. So, all the rules which we have seen, we will try to apply it and draw the root locus. Usually the question in the question paper is for 8 to 9 marks, and so you have to draw it properly. So, now parallelly you take a graph paper and then I will explain. So, parallelly you draw it on your graph paper. So, you have to write some things in the notebook and then use the graph paper. So, both things are required. So, use the notebook and graph paper. We will see the example. A feedback control system has an open loop transfer function GSHS is equal to k upon s into bracket s plus 3 into bracket s square plus 2s plus 2. This is open loop transfer function is given k upon s into bracket s plus 3 s square plus 2s plus 2. Question is, draw the root locus as k is varied from 0 to infinity. So, step by step we will do by applying all the rules. So, the first step is what you have to find out, how many zeros are there, how many poles are there. So, by observing the open loop transfer function, there are no zeros. What is meaning of this? M is equal to 0. There are 4 poles at, see where the poles will be, one is at s is equal to 0, second is s is equal to minus 3, and third and fourth you solve this equation and then you will get it. So, what you will get, minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4 ac upon 2. So, minus 2 plus minus 4 minus 8. So, you will get here minus 2 upon 2, here you will get imaginary root j 2 upon 2, meaning is that you will get one root is at minus 1 plus j 1, second is minus 1 minus j 1, minus 1 plus minus j 1. So, that 4 roots or the 4 poles are there. So, the first step is you find out how many poles are there, how many zeros are there and where the zeros and poles are lying. Next step is apply rule 2. So, what rule 2 says? It says that as many number of open loop poles, those many branches will be for in the root locus. So, here 4 open loop poles are there. So, what we can consider, we will write by applying the rule 2. If you want, you can write it, no compulsion, but you can write it. Rule 2. Rule 2 says that 4 branches of root locus will start from 4 open loop poles and will terminate to infinity or on infinity. Why? Because all n minus m is 4. So, all the 4 branches will start from the open loop pole will terminate to infinity, because here you can write n minus m is equal to 4. So, all the 4 branches will terminate to infinity. So, as per the rule 2, we can say how many branches will be there, and it will terminate at either 0 or it will go towards the infinity. Next is rule 3. So, no compulsion to write the rule, you just write whatever is this. So, what is rule 3? It says us which part of the real axis will lie on the root locus. Okay. So, now at this after the first 2 steps, we will use the graph paper now and try to draw the root locus. So, how to use the graph paper, that is again the how to choose the scale is again important. See that the root locus is symmetrical about the real axis. What is meaning of this? You have to select x axis at the center of the graph paper, that is the first case. So, we have to consider real axis or x axis as the center of the graph paper. Now, which part of the S plane we want to concentrate? Left half of S plane. So, right half of S plane is not important for us. So, how will you select the y axis? You select the y axis towards right, and so you select the y axis like this. So, that the major portion which you will get on the graph paper is left half of S plane. That is important thing, that select y axis towards right and you will get major portion towards left, while x axis is the center because root locus is symmetrical about x axis. So, first thing you have to do it this, then you represent S plane, x axis real axis sigma, y axis imaginary axis j omega. Now, how to choose the scale? To choose the scale, you observe what are the values of the poles and accordingly you select. See that if you have the so much graph paper and you are using, means suppose the graph paper, your graph paper is like this and you are drawing it or you choose the scale properly, but your root locus just lie in this portion, then all other portion of the graph paper remains unutilized. So, select the scale properly, so that maximum utilization of the graph paper you will get, as well as it will be easy for you to draw the root locus and determine the things afterwards. Okay. So, here you have S is 0 and -3. So, up to -3 you want. So, enlarge the scale. On your graph paper you can take 2 centimeter is equal to 1, and in that scale you can represent this as -1, this as -2, this as -3 and so on. So, on the graph paper we are considering 2 centimeter is equal to 1, otherwise 3 also, 4 also, you decide your own, but we want enlarged scale. So, that you observe what is the maximum value and accordingly select the scale. Usually y axis scale should be similar to the x axis. So, if you are taking 2 centimeter scale for 1, you 2 divisions for 1 unit, you select here also 2 divisions for 1 unit. Usually select it in this way. Okay. So, you will get here 2, here -2. So, on the graph paper you are considering 2 centimeter is 1, and on x axis and y axis we are representing. Next step is represent the poles and zeros. So, there are no zeros. So, poles we will try to represent. S is equal to 0. So, 0, this is your first pole. Next is S is equal to -3. So, represent here the pole. Next is at -1 plus J1. So, real part is -1, imaginary part is J1 and -1 minus J1. So, use the graph paper properly and represent it properly. So, what you will get here, 4 poles are represented, one is at 0, second is at -3, third is at -1 plus J1, -1 minus J1. Okay. So, this step we have drawn. Then we have know that 4 branches will start from the open loop poles. Now, rule 3, which part of the real axis will lie on the root locus. So, what is the rule says? You have to check, consider the real axis point, any axis point, test point. Suppose I am considering this as a test point. How many poles are to the right side of this? 1, means this will lie on your root locus. So, till -1 it will lie on the root locus. Then consider between -1 and -2, suppose this is your test point. How many poles will lie now? This is complex conjugate pair. So, 2 plus 1, 3 means again odd, and so this will lie on your root locus. From -3 again you will get 3 poles. So, the whole real axis region from 0 to -3 will lie on the root locus. So, that thing you have to write here. So, as per the rule 3, the 0 to -3 real axis portion will lie on root locus. So, here I am using another pen, red pen. On your graph paper you make it dark by using pencil only, but make it dark so that you can understand this portion will lie on your root locus, while -3 to infinity this will not lie on your root locus. Okay. So, rule 3 is over. Next is the rule 4. So, what is the rule 4? The 4 branches which are started from the open loop pole will go towards infinity following the asymptote. So, angle for the asymptote so this is your rule 4. Okay. Angle for asymptotes, angles for asymptotes. What is formula? Phi A is equal to plus minus 180 degrees into 2q plus 1 upon n minus m. This is the formula where q is varying from 0, 1, 2, so on. Here what you will get? Phi A is equal to plus minus 180 degrees into 2q plus 1. What is n minus m? N minus m is 4. And what is q you will get? Q will be 4 branches are there. So, 0, 1, 2 and 3. N minus m minus 1, total 4 branches. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is started with 0. So, you will get n minus m minus 1. Find out this angle. Consider first q is 0, find out the angle. So, what will be the angle? When q is 0, it is 180 by 4. So, it is 45 degrees when q is equal to 0. Consider q is equal to 1. So, 3 multiply 45 by 3, or you find out properly, you will get 135. Then consider q is 2. So, 5 into 180 upon 4. So, 225 and q is 3. So, 7 into 180 upon 4. So, 315. Check it. If I have done any mistake, you correct it. So, you will get the angles for the asymptotes are 45, 135, 225 and 315. Okay. So, how we have started? Once again you check it. First you start your work on the notebook. First see how many zeros are there, how many poles are there, where the poles are lying. Next, as per the number of poles, the root locus branches will start. Though these branches will terminate at either open loop 0 or towards infinity. How many branches will go towards infinity? N minus m, because m branches will terminate at 0. So, that you write as rule 2. Rule 3 is which part of the real axis will lie on the root locus. So, that before that you draw it on the graph paper and check it manually which part of the real axis will lie on the root locus. So, observing that you get the information or your conclusion is 0 to minus 3 real axis portion will lie on the root locus. How we have tested? We know the thing, consider any one point between this, how many zeros and poles are lying. So, no zeros, so only poles we are considering 1. If it is odd, it will lie on the root locus. Okay. Then 4 branches will go, all the branches will go towards infinity. So, at what angle? That angle we can find out by rule 4. Phi A is equal to, following this rule, we will get these 4 angles. So, now draw the asymptote with these angles. Before that you have to find out what is the centroid through which you will draw the angle. So, in the notebook again, next step is rule number 5. Find out centroid. So, what is formula for centroid? Minus sigma A is equal to summation of all real parts of the pole minus summation of all the real parts of the zeros upon n minus m. This is as per the formula. So, there are no zeros. So, only poles you have to consider, and what is the value of sigma A you will get now? Minus sigma A is equal to, where the poles are lying 0, next is minus 3 and minus 1 minus 1. So, what you will get? Minus 3 minus 1 minus 1. For this real part is minus 1 plus j 1, minus 1 minus j 1. What is real part? Minus 1, 2 poles. So, 2 times I have written here minus 1 and minus 3 upon n minus m is 4. So, what you will get here? Minus 5 by 4, that is 1.25. 5 by 4, that is minus 1.25. So, what you can do is that represent that point. So, this is minus 1. So, on your graph paper you have the scale properly. Here approximately I am drawing, this is minus 1, this is minus 2, considering this as minus 1.5, I will represent this as minus 1.25. I am drawing approximately, use the graph paper and you draw it properly. Okay. Now, from this centroid minus sigma A, you draw a line with 45 degrees. Okay. So, how will you draw? Use the pro circle and draw a line at 45 degrees. So, approximately I am drawing, you can draw the perfectly. So, this is the angle which I will get is 45 degree. So, I think I will use the blue pen, because red we will use only for the root locus. Okay. So, draw a line at 45 degrees. So, approximately I am drawing, you draw it properly, perfectly. So, this is the angle 45 degrees. So, the first asymptote. Next is 135. So, approximately I am drawing. So, this angle is 135. Next is 225. So, what you will get? It is symmetrical about the real axis. So, no necessity to measure it. What we will get here is 225 and 315. you will get it like this. This is symmetrical about the real axis. So, you just extend that 45 degrees line which will give you 225 line, extend 135 line which gives you 315. Okay. So, draw the asymptotes. See, whatever I have drawn here dotted line are the asymptotes, and this I have shown here that on the graph paper you draw faint lines. This is just for the understanding purpose of you. Okay. So, at what angle you are drawing this asymptote? All the 4 asymptotes that I have shown here. So, draw faint lines on your graph paper. Okay. So, once your asymptotes are there, then the centroid is there. What is the next step which we have to find out? We have to find out the breakaway point. So, to find the breakaway point, next rule, rule 6 we have to find out. So, I will rub this. So, both things you have to do some work on the notebook, and whatever you are considering on the notebook, that you have to write it or draw it on the graph paper. Okay. So, next rule number 6, it is for the breakaway point. How we are deciding breakaway point? What is this rule says? Rule says that derivative of k with respect to s should be equal to 0. dk by ds is equal to 0. Okay. So, you have to write first formula for k in terms of s. Okay. So, use for that use the basic equation given to you. So, how will you write? What is your characteristic equation? Characteristic equation is 1 plus GSHS is equal to 0. So, what you will get here? 1 plus k upon s into bracket s plus 3 s square plus 2s plus 2 is equal to 0. So, what you will get here? K is equal to minus s plus 3 s square plus 2s plus 2 is the formula for k. So, find out polynomial of s now, that is simplify this and find out polynomial of s. So, do this and find out polynomial of s. K is equal to just simplify it and write the formula for k in terms of s, polynomial of s. So, here s into s square means I will take minus sign outside, and then you can see s into s square. So, s raised to 4, fourth order system you will get, plus s cube. So, what is the coefficient of s cube? You find out from this equation. So, 5 s cube plus 8 s square s cube plus 8 s square plus 6 s. Check it whatever I have written here. So, just simplify this and write here. So, what you are getting here now? You are getting here the value or representation of k as a polynomial of s. Why it is required? Because you want to find out dk by ds, derivative of k with respect to s. So, find out now dk by ds. and equate it to 0. So, if k is written like this, what is dk by ds? Dk by ds is equal to, take minus sign outside, s raised to 4. So, it is 4 s cube plus 5 s cube means plus 15 s square plus 8 s square means 16 s plus 6 is the dk by ds. 4 s cube plus 4 s raised to 4 plus 5 s cube plus 8 s square plus 6 s, and dk by ds you will get it 4 s cube plus 15 s square plus 16 s plus 6. Equate it to 0, dk by ds is equal to 0. So, equate it to 0 and find the solution of this equation. See, now on your calculator you can use equation solver and you can find out the roots, but at the exam time that type of calculator is not allowed, and so you have to find out yourself how to find the roots of the equation. So, find out roots of the equation. So, the values of k will be dk by ds is equal to 0. So, when you solve it you will get 3 values of s. So, roots of that equation, find out it. See, here you are not getting the proper one, that is previous case we have seen s plus 2 is one factor and in that way. So, now you can use the calculator to solve this equation. So, I will give you the solution here. 2.3 is one root, s is equal to 2.3 is one root, second root is minus 0.725 plus j 0.365. So, I know that manually to find it is difficult, but whatever is the equation we got it, we have to solve it. So, I use calculator now and check that whether it is correct. So, once you will get these breakaway points, we have to see which breakaway point is proper. Okay. So, here 3 breakaway points we will get. So, third is plus minus j 0.365. Okay. So, one is minus 2.3, one is minus 2.3. So, represent here minus 2.3. So, this is minus 2, this is minus 3, minus 2.5. So, I will approximately represent, this is the breakaway point minus 2.3. This is breakaway point. Approximately I am writing on graph paper, you as per the scale you represent minus 2.3. What about this? Minus 0.725 plus minus j 0.365 is the breakaway point. So, how will you represent that point here? You will not get that point as a breakaway point, okay? And so, we have to consider only one minus 2.3 as the breakaway point, and so that what you will get now? Now, see properly, 4 branches will start from 4 poles. So, one branch will start from minus 3. This part is not on the root locus, means this branch will go in this direction. Why it is going in this direction? Because this part is not on your root locus, that we have decided it. So, this direction of the root locus from minus 3 is in this. So, this branch will go in this direction. One pole is at 0, this is not lying on the root locus, meaning is that this branch will go in this direction. So, one branch will go from minus 3, one will go from 0, both will meet at breakaway point. So, the breakaway point is minus 2.3, at this point both will meet. So, till here we will get both branches. At minus 2.3 multiple roots will be there and you will get here the both branches will meet. Then they will break away or they will leave the real axis and will follow the asymptote. So, how it will follow? We have seen the direction of the breakaway path. So, what is it? Two branches are there. So, 180 by 2, that is 90 degrees. So, with 90 degrees this branch will leave, with 90 degrees this branch will leave and it will follow the asymptote. So, how will you get it? You can draw the root locus is like this, it will follow the asymptote. It is symmetrical about the real axis. So, you draw it in this way. So, two branches you got it. As k tends to infinity, this will go in this direction. As k tends to infinity, this will go in this direction. So, first it will start from minus 3 and it will go in this direction, it will start from 0, it will go in this direction. One branch will go in the direction, it will follow the asymptote. So, in the direction of the asymptote, they will go towards the infinity. Okay. Now, remaining two branches will start from these two poles. So, those that we will see. Before that, see that when the value of k is 0, it will start from open loop pole. So, at minus 3, the value of k is 0. At 0, value of k is 0. As k goes on increasing, the branch is moving in this direction. So, now my question is, what is the value of k at minus 2.3? How to find the magnitude of k at the point minus 2.3? So, we have to apply the magnitude criteria. So, what is the magnitude criteria? Try to remember it, revise it. So, what we have to find out? You connect each open loop pole and zeros and then represent the value of k. Okay. So, the value of k you will get, as there is no 0, only poles, we will write here. The phasor from S only, that is when pole is 0, multiply it by phasor with S plus 3, multiply it with S plus 1 minus j 1 and multiply it with S plus 1 plus j 1. What is meaning of this? What we have seen? How to find the magnitude? We have to find out magnitude of each phasor. That is, if I am connecting this minus 3 pole to this, what is the length or magnitude of this phasor? So, what is the, like that you have to find out. Okay. So, similarly, if I want to find out, I have to connect this point to the minus 1 plus j 1 and minus 1 j minus 1. Measure this. So, how will you find out it on the graph paper? Actually use the scale, measure the length of that phasor and that you have to use it. So, for the real axis you can find out easily what is the phasor length of S, that is from when pole is 0. So, 0 to 2.3. So, what is the length of this? It is 2.3. So, the first point I will get is 2.3 into S plus 3, that is from this, how much is it? Is 3 minus 2.3. So, it is 0.7. Multiply it, use the scale and measure it properly. See, if you are using 2 centimeter is equal to 1, you have to scale it these phasors also properly. Okay. So, measure the scale, use the scale and measure the length of that. If I am using 2 centimeter is equal to 1, I have to, whatever is this length, you have to divide it by 2. So, that you have to take scaling factor is important, otherwise you will get the wrong result. So, if I measure it, so you measure on your graph paper whatever you are drawing. Here the result which is 1.68. If I am getting the 1.68 here, it is symmetrical about real axis. So, no necessity to measure it, just you can write it multiply by 1.68. So, find out product of all this. Find out product of all this, it is 4.54. It is 4.54. What it means? When k is 0, this branch will start from here, and at this point minus 2.3, value of k is 4.54. When k increases, it will leave this real axis, will go in this direction, and it will go towards infinity as the k tends. Similarly, here when k is more than 4.54, it will follow this branch and will go towards infinity. So, as k is varying from 0 to infinity, we can draw it in this way. So, if I have a particular point on the root locus, I can measure, that is the location of the root. If I know, I can find out gain of that at that point. How to find it? Use the phasors, measure the length of that phasor and multiply it. Okay. So, magnitude criteria just we are applying and we will get it like this. So, at s is equal to minus 2.3, we will get value of k is 4.54. Okay. So, I think there will be no doubt till this. So, what we have done? Find the centroid, draw the asymptotes. Once we have the asymptote, we have to find out breakaway point. So, how to find the breakaway point? dk by ds is the breakaway point. From that breakaway point, if more than one are there, two branches are meeting, then which is correct, that you have to find out. So, here minus 2.3 is correct, you have to discard this, and then the branch will go or follow the asymptote and will go towards infinity like this. Next, we have to see remaining two branches which will start from minus 1 plus j1 minus 1 j minus 1. So, for that you have to find out angle of departure, that is rule number 7. Should I rub this now? So, we will see now rule number 7, angle of departure. So, 7th step, rule 7, angle of departure. What is by formula we have seen, or in the rule it is said, angle of departure from a pole P, phi P is equal to plus minus 180 degrees 2q plus 1 plus phi. What is phi? Phi is contribution of angle at that pole from all other open loop poles and zeros. Okay, where q is varying from 0, 1. See, why, what is meaning of q is varying from 0, 1, 2, 3 for the branches we are considering, and what we want 2q plus 1 means we want odd number here. Why we want odd? It should be integer multiple of 180 degrees. So, we want it as well as it is written plus minus, because if I am considering here point, this gives me plus 180 degrees, the same point I will get minus 180 degrees, and so it is written plus minus 180 degrees. Okay. And I want integer multiple of 180 degrees, that is why it is written 2q plus 1, that is multiply it by odd number. So, that always it will be integer multiple of 180 degrees. So, find out this now. So, how to find phi now? What is phi? Angle of contribution. By all other open loop poles and zeros. Open loop poles and zeros. So, what you have to do now? Now, I want to find out angle of departure from this. See, any one pole you can take because it is symmetrical about real axis. So, I am considering from this. So, what you have to do? You connect all the open loop poles and zeros. Okay. Measure the angles. So, suppose I am representing this as angle theta 1, measure it. This is angle theta 2, measure it. This is angle theta 3, measure it. So, what is phi will be? Here total angle contribution will be theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 3. So, on graph paper you measure the actual angle. You measure the actual angle. So, measure it. So, by observing this I can feel that theta 1 is 135, theta 2 is 90 degrees and theta 3 you measure it, it is 26.6 as per the graph here. You measure it on your graph paper, whatever angle you will get that you use it. Okay. So, what you will get here? The angle you will get whatever is theta 3 is 26.6 degrees. And all these are due to poles. So, what you will get here? The minus sign outside, that is angle with 0 minus angle with poles, and so you will get minus sign outside. So, take sum of this. So, minus 135, minus 90, minus 20 means you make it, find out it. So, I will rub this now. So, what you will get here? 135, 90, 26.6. So, 0.6. $251.6. Then 180 minus 251.6. 180 plus 5, 5 is angle contribution of all open loop poles and zeros. How will you find out it? It is angle of 0 minus angles of poles. So, zeros are not there. So, only angle of poles and minus sign you will get outside. So, what is the value you will get here is 0.6 71.6 degrees. So, angle of departure is 71.6 degrees. Okay. So, what we have to consider here now? Now, a point will move from here with the angle of departure as 71.6, okay, and that angle of departure which we are considering is plus minus 180 degrees 2q plus 1. So, see that here what you will get. The angle, how will you represent here? 71.6 you measure it. So, somewhere here you will get, see it is following the asymptote, and so you have to find out this angle 71.6 here. Draw a small line there. So, angle of departure is this. Is it okay? Now, the next thing is that angle of departure, once you get it, you have to find out what is the angle of intersection at the imaginary axis. How will you find out it? So, the next rule, rule 8 is Routh criteria to find out it. Is it okay? So, what we will get here is with the angle phi p is 71.6. Now, apply the rule 8, that is Routh criteria. Routh criterion. So, what is the basic equation you got here? One characteristic equation, 1 plus GSHS is equal to 0. 1 plus JSHS is equal to 0. Okay. So, what you will get is S into S plus 3 into S square plus 2S plus 2 plus K is equal to 0. We have simplified this for calculation of dk by ds. So, use that equation. What is it? S raised to 4 plus 5 S cube plus 8 S square plus 6 S plus K is equal to 0. So, this is your characteristic equation. Now, you apply the Routh array. So, how will you apply the Routh array? So, we know it, write the Routh array S raised to 4, this is 1, 8, K, S cube is 5, 6, S square will be 40 minus 6, okay. So, 34 and here 5K. So, next row will be 34 divided by 5 and here 5K by 5. So, it will be K. Now, S raised to 1, find out it, 34 by 5 into 6 minus 5K upon 34 by 5. And what will be the S raised to 0? S raised to 0 will be K. So, simplify it. What is the Routh criteria says? Routh criteria says that all the elements in the first column must be positive because 1 is positive. So, if I want all the elements in the first column positive, that is k must be greater than, so I will write separately. So, k must be greater than 0 as well as this must be greater than 0. So, simplify it. And find out what value you will get. So, if you multiply this, what value you will get? 34 into 6, 204 divided by 5, check it. So, what you will get here is 204 divided, so I will write it properly, 204 divided by 5 minus 5k is equal to 0. It should be greater than 0. So, what is the value of k? K should be less than 204 divided by 25. So, what value you will get? 8.61. Solve it. So, 204 minus 25k upon 5 should be greater than 0. So, 204 minus 25k should be greater than 0, that is 204 should be less than, or k is less than, you will get 204 divided by 25. So, what is that value? You will get 8.16. What is meaning of this? The root criteria says that range of the values of k for which the system is stable is 0 is less than k is less than 8.16. When value of k is greater than 8.16, the system becomes unstable. So, this is as per the root criteria. So, when the roots will lie on imaginary axis? The roots will lie on imaginary axis when k is equal to 8.16. So, if k is equal to 8.16, you will get this is 0. So, this is 0 means one row before that you have to consider, and so what you will get 34 by 5 s square plus k means 8.16 is equal to 0. So, find out the value of s. So, find out the value of s. So, 34.5 means what you will get? 6.8. 6.8 s square plus 8.16 is equal to 0, and from that you find out s. So, you will get roots are plus minus j (1.11). So, I think it is easy. S square is equal to minus 8.16 upon this 6.8. So, whatever is the value is s square, then find s, you have to find out root. As it is minus, you will get imaginary roots, and it is plus minus j 1.1. What is meaning of this? So, with this work on the notebook, you go towards the graph paper. 1.1. So, represent the point here. So, this is 1.1. Similarly, here represent minus 1.1. So, the intersection to the imaginary axis is this. Okay. So, now we have to draw the root locus, okay, with the angle of departure 71.6, and it should follow the asymptote, and it is cutting to the 1.1. So, how will you draw the root locus? So, it will follow from this at 71.6, then it will intersect to the imaginary axis at 1.1, and it will follow the asymptote. It will follow the asymptote. Then it is symmetrical about the real axis. So, how will you get it? So, I will try to draw here, you all check it. So, this is the root locus. Whatever I have drawn with the red pen is the root locus. No necessity to calculate all things for this, because it is symmetrical about the real axis. So, whatever you will get for the root or pole 1 minus 1 plus j1, same you will get here. And what is the value of k now? You can find out here. The value of k is 0 when it will start from the open loop pole. So, k is 0, here k is 0. As k goes on increasing, at this point, what is the value of k we have seen? 8.16. So, here the value of k is 8.16. So, as it is increasing from 0 to 8.16, the roots are following this path. So, here the value of k is 8.16. So, when the value of k is varying from 0 to the root locus or locus of the roots is this, and if it is greater than 8.16, system becomes unstable. See that whether you understood how to draw the root locus. Okay. So, I think parallelly you have to draw it on the graph paper, otherwise you will not understand. And so, on the notebook, whatever is the part required of calculation or writing, that you have to write, and then you go towards the graph paper parallelly and you represent there. Now, suppose the root locus is available for us. What is use of this? What are the applications? Why we are taking so much pain to draw the root locus? First thing is, as the k is varying from 0 to infinity, we will get all the locations of the roots, how they are varying. Okay. So, we will get the first thing is determination of roots for a specified open loop gain. Meaning is that, suppose the gain is known, that is here we have k is 0, here k is 4.54. So, suppose k is 8, somewhere here you will get. In that way you can decide where at a particular value of k where the root will lie. So, some trial and error method is required. So, if it is in between 4.4 to 0, you will get somewhere here. So, you can determine where the root will lie if you know the value of k. So, this is the first advantage or application, that determination of roots for a specified open loop gain. So, here magnitude criterion is required. See how we have calculated here, it is 4.54 by using magnitude criteria. Okay. Second is, that is again important, that determination of open loop gain for a specified damping factor of the dominant root. So, what is the damping factor? Zeta value, which we know. So, the second advantage which we want. So, first we have seen determination of the position of root or location of root if k is known. Second thing we are considering, if we have decided to draw the roots somewhere here, means our system should represent here roots, then what is the value of k, that also you can find out. One more thing is determination of, suppose the damping factor is given to you. So, determination of open loop gain for a specified damping factor. So, suppose the damping factor is given to you is 0.5. Then where the roots will lie, that is the question. So, here the actually in the time response analysis we have seen that relationship theta is cos inverse of zeta, or cos theta is equal to zeta. So, using that we can write theta is equal to cos inverse of zeta. Suppose for this example zeta is 0.5, where the roots will lie, that we want to determine. Okay. So, as we know relationship that zeta is equal to cos theta, we got theta is equal to cos inverse zeta. So, here we will get cos inverse of 0.5. Here we will get cos inverse of 0.5. So, what is the value of cos inverse of 0.5? 60 degrees. So, you draw a line with 60 degrees. So, see 60 degrees when you are considering with this, now you have to use from this side. Okay. So, this theta 60 degrees we want. So, suppose I am drawing here that 60 degree line. Okay. This is the 60 degree line, cos inverse of zeta. This theta is 60 degree. Where it is cutting to the root locus, intersecting to the root locus, that point is important for us. So, here it is, this point is important for us. What we can do here, or the question is, determine the value of magnitude k when the zeta is 0.5. How will you determine it now? Now, you got the location of root. So, here the root is lying. How to determine the value of k? Connect it to all the open loop poles and zeros. So, one is connected to 0, second is you connect from here, next is you connect from here, next you connect from here, and what we have seen the formula? So, this is 60 degrees. What is the formula we have seen for the k? For the k, we have seen that the phasor diagram from the point which we are considering. So, either I am writing S or S0, whatever you want. This is phasor diagram into what we want here, S plus 3 phasor into S plus 1 plus J1 into S plus 1 minus J1. So, what we are doing? Actually measure what is the length of this phasor. So, as per the proper scale, you measure it, take that value. S plus 3, measure this and take this. From here, measure actual value, from here you measure actual value, and then you multiply all these phasors together, which gives you k value. Okay. So, on your graph paper, you find out your values. See, due to some manual errors, you will not get same value, but it should be near to the actual value. Okay. So, here we are getting the values. This phasor is 0.84 into S plus 3, that phasor gives the value is 1.86, then 2.74 and 0.68. See, this is the nearest to this. So, this length is less. So, it is 0.68. Product of all this gives you value of k. So, here we got the value is 2.91. See, now logically also it is correct, because you can see k is 0 here. As k is increasing, it is following this path, and here it is 8.16, means it must be less than 8.16, and where it is lying, as per that you have to find out. So, nearly 3 you will get there. So, how to find it? Actually connect the open loop poles and zeros, and then you find out the phasor length, multiply it, which gives you value of k. So, the advantage of the root locus is that you can determine the specified where the roots are lying for the specified open loop gain, and if the damping factor is given, also you can find out what is the k required for the given damping factor and where the root is lying. So, all the values as varying k 0 to infinity, you can find out a visualization of the location of the roots is available in the root locus graph. So, this is very important, it gives us dynamic response. For the control engineer, it is required to decide where the poles should lie, and accordingly he can decide what should be the gain of the system. Okay. So, we will stop here.